President Joe Biden from the Lincoln Memorial on Wednesday night said he has never been more optimistic about America than now, while again calling for unity and saying democracy has prevailed. Biden, from the Lincoln Memorial on Wednesday night just hours after he was sworn in as the 46th President of the United States, said it was humbling for him to stand at the memorial. Humbling because of you, the American people, Biden said. Democracy is precious and because of you, democracy has prevailed, Biden said. First Lady Jill Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris and Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff wanted to make sure our inauguration was not about us, but about you, the American people. This is a great nation. We're good people, Biden said, again calling for the most elusive of things in a democracy: unity. It requires us to come together, Biden said, calling for opportunity, liberty, dignity and respect, and urged Americans to unite against common foes like the coronavirus pandemic, hate, and hopelessness. Biden said, that is the task before us. There are moments in our history when more is asked of us as Americans, Biden said, pointing to the Civil War and to Dr. Martin Luther King's movement. We're in one of those moments now. Biden listed the coronavirus pandemic, economic crisis, racial injustice, the climate crisis, and threats to our very democracy. The question is, are we up to it? Will we meet the moment? He said, I believe we must and I believe we will. I've never been more optimistic about America than I am on this very day, Biden said. There isn't anything we can't do if we do it together. Biden said he would respect and represent America during his time in office. America is built of decency and dignity, of love and healing, of greatness and goodness, of possibilities, he said. This is a story that guides us, inspires us, and unites us, today and always, Biden added. Thank you for this honor. I will give my all to you. Biden's short remarks from the Lincoln Memorial Wednesday night echoed much of the sentiment of his inaugural address earlier in the day, when he called for unity in a nation suffering from deep political divisions and the coronavirus pandemic that has crippled the country. This is America's day. This is democracy's day, Biden said in his address. America has been tested anew and America has risen to the challenge. Biden was sworn in with his hand on his family Bible, the same one he has used to take the oath office in the past. The oath was administered by Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts. Standing beside Biden was First Lady Jill Biden, his son, Hunter Biden, and daughter Ashley Biden. During his first day in office, Biden signed 17 executive orders and actions, rolling back Trump-era policies and directives, and restoring Obama-era programs. The president, on Wednesday, declared an immediate termination of funding for the border wall construction, putting an end to a key Trump campaign and administration promise to build a wall along the U.S. Mexico border. The move will direct an immediate pause in wall construction and will determine the best way to redirect funds that were diverted by the prior administration to fund wall construction. Biden also signed an executive order revoking Trump's previous order that directed aggressive immigration enforcement. The Biden team said that the move will allow for the Department of Homeland Security and other agencies to set civil immigration enforcement policies that best protect the American people and that are in line with our values and priorities. Biden announced he would preserve and fortify the Obama-era Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals DACA program, which allows people who came to the United States as children to request deferred immigration enforcement and work authorization for a renewal period of 2 years. The Trump administration had sought to end the program since September 2017, mounting a number of federal legal battles. Next, Biden signed an executive order that will put an end to Trump's Muslim ban. Trump, in 2017, signed an executive order suspending entry into the U.S. for individuals from mostly Muslim countries: Sudan, Syria, Libya, Somalia, Yemen and Iran. The travel ban was updated later that year to include North Korea and Venezuela. The Trump administration expanded the ban again in January 2020 to include an additional 6 countries. The Biden administration's reversal will repeal Trump's order and instructs the State Department to restart visa processing for affected countries in an effort to restore fairness and remedy the harms caused by the bans. As for the census, Biden signed Executive Order Wednesday to revoke the Trump administration's plan to exclude non-citizens from the census and apportionment of congressional representatives. Biden's move will also ensure the Census Bureau has time to complete an accurate population count for each state, which he will then present to Congress. Biden also took action Wednesday to re-engage with the World Health Organization after Trump's decision to withdraw in 2020 amid the coronavirus pandemic. The Biden administration will work with the WHO and our partners to strengthen and reform the organization, support the COVID-19 health and humanitarian response, and advance global health and security. Biden has also restored the White House's National Security Council's pandemic unit, which Trump disbanded early in his administration. Meanwhile, Biden signed the instrument to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord after the Trump administration officially left the agreement last year. The Paris Agreement was a global pact created during the Obama administration to combat climate change. Biden also signed an order that will roll back Trump's environmental actions, including the revocation of Trump presidential proclamations and other actions signed that McCarthy claims do not serve the U.S. national interest. The move also revoked the presidential permit granted to the Keystone XL pipeline. With regard to the coronavirus pandemic, Biden, on Wednesday, launched a 100-day masking challenge and signed an executive order requiring masks and physical distancing in all federal buildings, on all federal land and by federal employees and contractors. Biden also extended the eviction and foreclosure moratoriums for those affected by the unprecedented housing affordability crisis brought on by the pandemic through March 31. Biden has also asked the Department of Education to consider immediately extending the pause on interest and principal payments of federal student loans until Sept. 30. Biden also took a number of other actions related to racial justice and equity.